Yud Zayin Daf Toiv. We left off, actually, you got to move it back because they're going to kick the stand over here. We left off, let's start again. With the help of Hashem, we are learning Brachas Daf Yud Zayin, Daf Toiv. We are going to start learning the various prayers that Tanoim and Amoraim added at the end of the davening. Some of them actually ended up in our siddur at the end of the davening, but many of these tefillas somewhere worked their way into our siddur or into our machzor. We're going to be learning about the concept of echad hamarbe ve'echad hamamid, whether one does much, whether one does little, as long as their kavanah is l'shem shamayim, they're going to be all equally rewarded. On the other hand, we're going to learn a very strong concept that ha'oisa shaloi l'shma, noyach loy shaloi nivra. Normally, we are familiar with the phrase that mitoich shaloi l'shma, ba l'shma. But there is a time where we say that doing something shaloi l'shma is so bad, it's better for that person not to have been created. And we're going to differentiate between different types of shaloi l'shmas. We're going to learn that the concept of whether chayshin and liyuhara, whether there are certain activities that we may not do or we should not do because we don't want to look like we're boasting, looks too showy, is really a machlekes tanoim. And there are various scenarios in which the same Tana can say one in one scenario and another in another scenario. And God willing, we'll start the third Perek, Misha Meisei Mutal Lefanov, which continues to deal with the concept that ha'oisik b'mitzvah patem min ha'mitzvah. So people that are involved in a burial at different stages are exempt. Also the concept that if a person is preoccupied with the mitzvah, they are also exempt from certain mitzvahs. And with that, let us start where we left off. We left off on Daf Ten Zayin, Amid Beis. We have a nice shtickle still we have to go through, which is a good thing. We left off 14 lines before the bottom of the Amid, which is really the last medium-sized line by the two dots. Right? In the beginning, almost the second word in the line, two dots, Rabbi Elazar. And again, we're going to go through various tefillos that Amoraim, later we'll learn about Tanoim, added at the end of davening. Davening ends after the final bracha and the Shemona Esrei, and as we learned, that we put at the end of the final bracha, that which David HaMelech put originally at the end of the 18th kapitel, now worked perfect. Now that we have 19 brachas in the Shemona Esrei, actually now we divided the first kapitel in Tehillim into two kapitlach. So now we find this verse at the end of the 19th kapitel, Yehu l'ratzin imre fi v'hegin l'v'nech Hashem tzuru v'ge'ali. After that, we're going to see the various tefillos that were added. Really, there's going to be a machlokes rishonim, whether these tefillos were said before the Yehu l'ratzin, or whether they were said after the Yehu l'ratzin. And as we'll speak this out again, in our siddur we say it twice. To go by both of these rishonim, all here in this gemara. You'll notice, we say Yehu l'ratzin, then we say l'kayin etzoy, this is one of the tefillos, and then again we say Yehu l'ratzin. Okay. So at some point after davening, before Yehu l'ratzin, after Yehu l'ratzin, add, No. The Gemara doesn't mention it here, but there's a machlokes whether it's before or after. So the way you resolve it is by saying it twice. And now whatever you're doing, you're saying it both before and after. So Rabbi Elazar, Basar the Masayim Tzoloi say after you finish davening, that's every Shemona Esrei. Amar Hachi, this is what he says. Yehi ratzim ilfanecha Hashem Elokeinu shetashkein b'poreinu, that you Hashem should cause that in our home there should dwell, or b'poreinu really purim is malashon lottery, that in our lot should dwell ahava, love, and achva, and brotherhood, and shalom, and peace, v'reus, and companionship, v'tarbe gibulenu b'talmidim, and enlarge our boundaries with students, v'tatzliach soifenu achres v'tikva, cause our end to prosper, right, both with future and with hope, v'tasim chalkeinu b'gan eden, v'sakneinu, and establish us b'chaver toiv, with a good chaver, v'yetzer toiv, and a good yetzer be'olamcha, in your world, v'nashkem v'nimtza, when we wake up in the morning, we should find ourselves, that we should be already in the emotional state of yichul levaveinu liyira shemecha, right, that we should be yearning Our heart should be yearning to be overcome with awe of your name. Right? And you should make our needs fulfilled before you, l'toiva. Well, this is a theme we say many times in davening, that everything God does is for good. For good means it should be b'toiv hanidav anigla. It should be azah good that even we recognize that it's good. We should see it. We're going to have this many times in these davening. That was Rabbi Lazar. And the contemporary Rabbi Yochanan, Basar, the Messiah, Tzeloisei, Amar Hachi, Yehi Ratzim Milfanecha, Hashem Elokeinu. Shetatzitz bivashtenu, that you should gaze upon our shame, meaning, what's our shame? That we're in Golus. V'sabid b'ra'aseinu, and behold our plight. And now what should you do? Now you're going to notice, we have in the concept, there's Zah, there's 7 emotions, but many times we divide them into Zah and Malchus. Here we're going to go through 6 madregas, for sure they're connected to the 6 emotions of Chesed, Gvura, Tiferes, Netzach, and Yesod. You have to just figure out which one is which. V'tislabesh, that you should garb yourself, Berachamecha, in your mercy. V'tiskasa, you should cover yourself, Be'ozecha, in your strength. V'tisateif, you should wrap yourself, B'chasi, Dusecha, in your Chesed. V'tisazer, that's from a Gartel, you should gird yourself, B'chaninu Secha, with your graciousness. V'toy lefanecha, midas tuvcha, v'anve sanuscha. So if you see, you have Rachamecha, Uscha, Chassidutgemarah, Chaninusecha, Tuvcha, and Anivus. Here you have 6. Rabbizajac Basa the Messiah Tzeloisa, Amar Hachi, Yiratzim Lefanecha Hashem Elokeinu, Shetehei Toirascha, that your Torah should be Umanuseinu, should be our umanis, should be our preoccupation. Va'al Yidveli Beinu, and our heart should not be pained. Va'al Yechshoinenu, and our eye should not be dimmed. I missed a line, so let's go. Oh, very good, thank you. So Nachmo, thank you. That we should not sin. And therefore, we should not become ashamed. We should not become disgraced. Ma'avoseinu means we should not be disgraced when we stand in front of our forefathers. To know, I heard a good word. What does davening mean? Rabbi Shapsi Alfred in Brazil. What's make the word davening? So davening comes from the words da'avuhaim, from our forefathers, because these tefillas were said from our forefathers. Beginning with Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and now we're learning other tefillas that came again Bisman HaAmoraim, and we'll see soon other Tanoim. Rabchia, very good. Rabchia, Basa the Matzli, Amarachi, Ratzmo Fanach, Hashem Elokeinu, Shetehei Tiras Chumunaseinu. Again, that your Torah should be our preoccupation, Val Yitveli Beinu, and our heart should not be pained, Val Yachshoinenu, our eye should not be dimmed. Rav Basa Tzoloi, say Amarachi, Ratzmo Fanach, Hashem Elokeinu, Shetitein Lanu Chaim Aruchim. That you should give us long life, Chaim Shol Sholim, a life of peace, Chaim Shol Tova, a life of good, Chaim Shol Bracha, a life of blessing. Chaim Shel Parnasa, life of Parnasa. Chaim Shel Chilutz Atzomitz. Chilutz Atzomitz means strong bones. Speak to a chiropractor, he'll tell you the whole physical health has to do with the bones. So there's a special tefillah for that. Chaim Sheyesh B'hem Yiras Chet, a life that is filled with awe of God Almighty. Chaim, not of sin, of sinning. I'm sorry, Chet, not of punishment. You're afraid of the sin itself. Chaim She'em B'hem Busha V'chlima, a life that there's not going to be Chet, there's not going to be shame, and there's not going to be humiliation. Chaim shel oisher metan ayin, Chaim v'kavoid, Chaim shetehei banu ahavas Torah v'yira shomayim, Chaim shetamali lanu was called mishalis libenu, again letoiva, means in a revealed good way. Now let's go to Atana, Rebbe Basad Saloisei, Amar Hachi, Yiratzim Lefanach Hashem Elokeinu Elokei Aviseinu. Here, interesting, right? Before we had Hashem Elokeinu, I think everyone we learned today was Elokeinu. What does the Rebbe add? First time, Elokei Aviseinu. Shetatzilenu, Me'azei Panim, save us from brazen individuals. I mean, he said this after davening, but as we'll see, many of these tefillos work their way in our siddur or in our machzorim somewhere. Save us from brazen individuals. Ume'azus Panim means from brazenness. Ma'adam ra, from an evil man, mi'pegara, from an evil mishap, mi'yetzara, from the evil inclination, mi'chavara, from an evil chaver, evil companion, mi'shachana, from an evil friend, u'misatet hamashchis, from the destructive accuser, midin kasha, from hard judgment, umi baldin kasha, from a hard legal adversary. Ben shu member is, whether he's a Jew, a member of the covenant, ben she'ein a member is. And Rebbe said all this tefillah. Now the Gemara, this is the Gemara's adding, va'afal gav, even though the kai make it sutzei alei the Rebbe, that there were guards, bodyguards placed before Rebbe. So Rashi reminds us, we're going to have this in Avodah Zarah, that Rebbe in Antoninus, who was the main Roman general or representative in the Holy Land, stationed in Tiberia, became friends. And according to some, Antoninus actually was Megayer, converted, and Antoninus wanted for Rebbe to be protected, so he, since the government of Rome, paid that the Rebbe, Rabbeinu HaKadosh, always had bodyguards with him. So you would think a person has a bodyguard, they're protected. Rebbe understood the bodyguard, again, we have to make our effort. The only one that gives us protection is God Almighty. You can have 1,000 bodyguards, he davened that he should be protected. He had the biggest tefillah to show that a Yid should think this way. Now we have to do what we need to do. But after we do our part, it's God's affording us protection. Rav Safra, Basar Tzoloi say after the davening, Amar Hachi, this is what he says. You say this, Chassidim were taught, we don't say anything in the past tense. He didn't say. If we're learning him, he's living. He's here in the room with us. So through us, he's saying that that you should place peace. Daf Yud Zayin, bePamalya Shel Maila. Who's the Pamalya Shel Maila? Who is the heavenly assembly? Says the first Rashi on top of the Amid, Gavaldik, that the Chaburas Sorei Hu'umais, that in every nation has a ministering Sar, a ministering master, a ministering angel, Ruchnis de Kokoyach, that is up there in the heavens. And everything that happens down here is merely a reflection of what's happening up there. And says Rashi, if there is a fight over there between these two, there's an argument between different ministers, that is, says Rashi, what causes a war or a machlokes to happen down here. So if you want to resolve peace, that's a rule in life, you have to go to the root. Ein hagavuris dem takis ela b'sharsha. The root is in the heavens. And why would the ministers in the heavens make peace? So Chassidus explains that when Hashem reveals himself, the greatness of God overwhelms, and everyone becomes consciously bottled to godliness. And when that happens up there, then automatically they make peace down here. Another tefillah. Now this tefillah is not ubepamalya shel mata, that Hashem should make peace in the earthly assembly. This is not about the Sodom of the Ummahs. This is about Chachamim. That the Chachamim, Chachmei Yisrael, should act peacefully one to the other, even though each one has a different shita, as we should have. Each one has a different path. We have 12 shvatim. But together with that, we have to have a shalom between us. And Hashem should make peace. Ubein ha-talmidim ha'oiskim b'soyrasach. And amongst the talmidim that are occupied, that are involved in learning your Torah. And here he spoke out. It doesn't make a difference. Bein oiskim lishma, bein oiskim shaloi lishma. Well, amongst all of them. And then he concluded that those people that are learning Torah as of now, shaloi lishma, here again, we spoke this out b'kitzur on Daf Yud, right? That when the Beruria told Rabbi Meir that yitamo chatoim v'lo chaytim, so he davened that they should do tshuva, and the Marsha we spoke out asked the question, Hakal b'dei shamayim chutz me'ira shamayim. Mela, when you say Hashiveinu avinu l'soyrasecha, it means when we daven and we're asking for us to do tshuva, at least the person is also davening for themselves. That's okay. Davening for myself to do tshuva is good. Hakal b'dei shamayim chutz me'ira shamayim. Davening is a part of my effort for me to do tshuva. And if I include you with me together, that's also understandable, because at least I'm also speaking about me. The Marsha asked, if I'm only davening for your Gira Shemaim, that's your avodah. But nevertheless, we see that it's done. Rabbi spoke out that indeed, that only the greater the tzaddik, meaning the more Avos Yisrael, so that's the way they davened. Your failing is my failing. I'm responsible for you, you're responsible for me. So here also, he davened for others that they should be oisik lishma. However, it worked on Daf Yud, that's the way it works here on Daf Yud Zayin. Rabbi Alexandri, Basar Tzoloi say, Amar Hachi. He wrote to Hashem Elokeinu, Sheta'amidenu bekeren oira, that you should put us in a illuminated corner. The Marsha says gavaldik. He says corner. A corner means that you're stuck. You're in a corner. Corner means galus. So it's like a sad prayer. It's even if we are in galus, at least in the galus it should be illuminated. That's a galus prayer. Today we have to daven that we should not be in galus. We're not davening it should be good in galus. But this happened a long time ago. That we should be bekeren oira, va'al tamidenu bekeren chasheicha, and we should not be in a dark corner. Va'al yidve libenu, and our heart should not be pained. Va'al yechshu einenu, and our eyes should not be dimmed. Ikadamri, that this was the prayer that was said by Rav Hamnuna. Rav Hamnuna matzlila. Rav Hamnuna, nuna yama. Hamnuna means a fish. Rav Hamnuna comes from Alma Discassia. We just came off Yud Kislev or Yud Kislev. That we learned that the Mittler Rebbe's name, the Alter Rebbe says that he wanted to name his son Hamnuna because he came from Alma Discassia. When the Berditchever heard the Mittler Rebbe say Chassidus, he says that this Chassidus is greater than the Torah of the Rashbi. So said the Berditchever. And he explained that the Rashbi comes from Alma Disgalia. And this is the Torah of Rav Hamnuna. And the Alter Rebbe says, I wanted to name him Hamnuna. Never then, the Maggid told me I should name him after the Maggid. So you have to understand what I mean. In other words, this prayer comes from Alma Discassia. What did Rabbi Alexandria pray for? Rabbi Alexandria, Basa de Matzli Amarachi. That what? This is such a good line. You know that what we really want is to do what you want. Right? The Rebbe celebrated this Rambam, which is really a gemara. That the concept of koif and oisai achoyem roitzani. That's by a get. Same thing we find by korbanos. It has to be willingly. And if a Beis Din paskins that a man has to give a get, and they don't give a get, then you can take him up and you can coerce him to write a get. But he has to say, I want to give it. How does that work? You being coerced to say the words you want to, what does that mean? It means you were coerced. Says that Rambam no. Say Chazal no. That my real want is what God wants. That's what I really want. My Yetzer Hara coerced me to say I don't. So you have to beat up my Yetzer Hara. Oh, I'm only beating up your Yetzer Hara. Umi ma'akev, but what prevents us from feeling the real my want, which is God's want? The yeast in the dough, and yeast in the dough refers to the inner nefesh habahama is the Yetzer Hara, it's inside of me. So there's inner issues and there are outer issues. What are the outer issues? The shibud malchias, right? And the fact that we are subservient to outer forces, to the nations, that they limit what we could practice, what we can't practice. So we're asking God to get rid of both of them. Both from the inner and from the outer. And then naturally, belevav shalem. Belevav shalem means not only to get rid of the so'ir, but maybe has the concept of hisabcha. So then all of our hearts will be in service to God. I heard a good word that the whole sheet of the Rambam wants for people to be in the golden middle path. Not to either extreme. The so'ir of the Isa, when a person feels very arrogance, then people are too arrogant. Shibud malchus too much. Shibud malchus, they completely dominate you when we're subservient. So too haughty is not good. Completely broken is not good. Get rid of both extremes and go in the middle. Oh, Rava basar tzeloise yamarachem Eloi kai, my God, Acheloi natzarti ena kedai. Acheloi natzarti ena kedai means, my friends, it's not a depressing prayer. It means that we were born exactly when we needed to be born. That means before we were formed, it wasn't kedai for us to be formed. The fact that we are alive now, Tavshin Pei, is exactly our mission in life, can only be accomplished now. Which is why before we were born, we should not have been born. Then we wouldn't have been in touch with the things in the world that we need to elevate, that we need to bring godliness to. That means, in other words, means that we were created for a specific mission. Oh, now once I acknowledge that I was created here for my specific kavanah, to elevate my chelki ba'olam, so now I have to make a cheshbon. Am I doing my mission? Am I doing my mission? Ofarani b'chayai, and kavochomer b'misasai, or b'misasi, And therefore, Harei ani lefanecha kechlim ali busho chlima. Very humbling prayer. Yiratzim lefanecha Hashem Elikai shelo yechta oid. In other words, hate that comes from the Sa'or Shabe'isa, which comes from the arrogance, to counter it, I have to humble myself. So I'm humbling it by saying by living these statements. So what about meroik? Yeah, that's the lashon you have here. Moreik, to cleanse, right? However, we ask another tefillah, not through suffering, or nor v'chaloim roim, serious illness. So this is what Ravas davened after every tefillah. Says the Gemara, "Hainu vidui," that Rav Hamnuna Zuta b'Yom Kippur. Rav Hamnuna Zuta said this on Yom Kippur. My friends, when do we say it? Taka after Dal Chet. That's correct. I got stuff. Very good. Okay. Mar b'rei de Ravino. Kava Masayim Tzoloisei. Amar Hachim. Elikai. This we have in our tefillas. Nitzoir l'shoyne meira. Guard my tongue from evil. Usfasai, and my lips. Midaber mirma, from speaking deceit. Just to know that the word deceit is when a person says something, but they mean something different. So they might be saying something complimentary, but it's mirma. It's deceit means I'm fooling you. Don't explicitly say something bad, and don't imply something bad. Ul vilam line, for those who curse me, nafshi sidoim. May my nefesh be silent. Be silent. Also, pshat means that if someone curses one, don't respond. No, it's don't escalate, de-escalate. V'nafshi ka'afar lakol tiyah. V'nafshi ka'afar lakol tiyah. So many Maimonic chassidus say that this is the prerequisite for the next line. That only when a person is very humble, then will their hearts be open to God's Torah. To Torah, you don't have to be humble. God forbid. But if you want to get to Torah Secha, you want to tap into the light of the Torah, to the Pnimius HaTorah, you have to be humble. And you see that. Mamash see that. When people learn a lot of chassidus, they become very humble. And we have to be careful. People that learn a lot of nigla sometimes can become very arrogant. Look how much I know. So we have to remember that if we want our hearts to be open to God's Torah, we have to mamash be v'nafshi ka'afa. U'v'mitzvaysecha tirdef nafshi. That we want our soul to run after the mitzvahs. To be excited about the mitzvahs. And it's interesting. Right now, look, we're going to other words of prayer that we have a lot of what we're going to say now in the morning. V'satzileni, and save me. Mipegara, from an evil mishap. Miyetzer hara, from the evil inclination. Umeishara, from an evil woman. Umekol rois amisrakshos. When you say that statement, all the married men make a comment. Umekol rois amisrakshos lovei ba'olam, and from all evil occurrences that come into the world. And whoever has an evil design against me, speedily, right? You should nullify their counsel, and you should disrupt their unspoken words. And just appreciate, going back, that a lot of these things is on us. In other words, why will apegara, yetzer hara, ishara take responsibility? It's all connected. I think that v'nafshi ka'afar lakol tiyah. If a person is humble, then the wife will be nice to you, and the chaverim will be nice to you. When we're not v'nafshi ka'afar lakol tiyah, everyone is bad. We're tzaddikim. Everyone around us tignish. So it's really on us. We're davening that we should be more humble. And then here we go, the line. Now again, this is the end of what used to be Kapitel Yutes. Now it's end of Kapitel Yutes. That that made the expression of my mouth be l'ratzain, right? As the thoughts of my heart, right? Should be l'ratzain, should find favor by you, God. And Hashem, you are my rock, and you are my redeemer. And here's where you have the machlokes, that the Rashba says that this Yul Ratzon should be said after the Tefillah. The Ravid says that Yul Ratzon should be said before your personal Tefillah. That's why we say it twice. So we finish some shalom. We say Yul Ratzin. We add tefillos, not all of them, but some of them are going to our nusach, our minhag, and then we say again Yul Ratzin. And there's many minhagi Yisrael. There's a minhag that people should say psukim from Tanach, that the first letter and the last letter of the verse corresponds to the first and the last letter of one's name. And if you have 2 names or 5 names, whatever names, say that amount of psukim. More importantly, chassidim, we say the rebbe's psukim. We say the rebbe's psukim, and then we say our psukim. This is part of our tefilla. Before the last Yul Ratzin. Okay, weiter. Rav Sheshes, ki hava Yosef v'tanisa. When he would be sitting in a fast, basar the matzli, after he davened, now l'chayra, this is going to get us a tshuva. First, you have to do tshuva, and after the tshuva, after the ikar tshuva, you have the gift to God. The gift to Hashem is a korban, and when there's no Beis Hamikdash yet, then what's in the place of a korban? A fast. That comes from here. That after he would daven, after the basic tshuva, after the basic connection to God, he would say the following: "The boy no'ilam, Master of the worlds, Golav Yidol, it's revealed for you that bisman shabeis hamikdash kayim adam chayte." And after he did tshuva, how did he give God a gift, right, to be as beloved to Hashem as before the sin? He would bring a korban, and even when he would bring a korban, what from the korban always needed to go on the mizbeach. Now, oila is completely burnt. But even if not an oila, what needs to go on the altar is the most earthy part of the animal, with the concept of elevating the lowest part of us. It should be burnt for God, the fats, the blood, and the mischaper line. This is what brought about a complete kapara. So there's tshuva and there's kapara. Tshuva is something that we do. We have to do tshuva, and God gives me kapara. Kapara, the Alter Rebbe teaches, is to be mekaneach the sin, to wipe clean the effects of the sin. After I did mine, why does God, so to say, asirus de lasata, causes for God to completely give me kapara when I give Hashem a gift after I do tshuva? Now, Ba'achshav now says Rav Sheshes, Yoshafti b'tainis. I'm sitting in a fast. And what happens when we fast? V'nismait chelbi v'dami. Physically, there's less fats and there's less blood in the body. And the kavanah should be, Yehi ratzim milfanecha, sheyehi chelbi v'dami shenismait, ki ilu hi krafte lifanecha al gabi hamizbeach, and therefore, vitir tzeni. And again, to be medayik, that he used to say it after davening. That's the holy Geras HaTshuva, that after the basics, then you add the complete gemara hakapara. Gemara hakapara achar tshuva. Rabbi Yochanan Kav Messiah, Sifra de Iyuv. When Rabbi Yochanan would finish learning the book of Iyuv, just to learn what you learned on the dafyomi at Beis, that Rabbi Yochanan had real Yisurim, that Rabbi Yochanan buried 10 of his sons. So it goes together that Rabbi Yochanan was a Yid that used to learn the book of Iyuv. So he would see, it sounds like he would learn it a lot, and every time he would make a siyum, Amarachi, this is what he would say: Soif Adam Lamos, man's end is to die. The Soif Behema L'shchita. The animal and the person, ultimately, the Nefesh HaBahama is Shchita Ein Shachat Elo Mashach. Ultimately, that will be elevated. V'hakol L'misa Hemoimdim, Taiches here, the Marsha, Hakol L'misa Hemoimdim means, didn't we just say Soif Adam Lamos? What are we adding? That there are times that people die early. We're going to learn not that long from here, Chagiga Davdalad Amid Beis, the Gavaldike Maisa. The Gemara asks, can a person pass away before their time? The Gemara says, yeah. And a whole Maisa that the Malach HaMavis doesn't do the job by himself. He has messengers. And he sent a shliach, and the shliach was told to pick up, who was that? Miriam Magdala. There was a woman that was Miriam Magdala Seyar, or Magdala Dardike. No, there was a woman that used to, was a sheitel macher, and there was a woman that took care of kids, and they both begin, Magdala means she raised. And the Malach HaMavis took the wrong one, took the wrong Miriam. And it's a fascinating Gemara. Remember that? And then what? And then he says, you brought me the wrong person. So the shliach says, let me. Shliach can get into a lot of trouble. Go put it back in the neshama. So the Malach HaMavis says it's too late. So then what did you do with that neshama? So in other words, there's a concept. What's the lashon Roni? That in Yisafim below Yizmanam, that people can be gathered before their times. That's Hakalamis. People can even pass away before their times. And therefore, in Yiddish, Kera Welt heint Chaparein. Ashrei Misha Gadol Batoira. Fortunate is the person that grows in Torah. And Vamoli Batoira. And we toil in the Torah. And V'oisa Nachas Ruach L'Yisrael. We give Hashem Nachas. And V'Gadol B'Shem Tov. And we grow in good reputation. And V'Nifter B'Shem Tov B'Na Oilam. He faced mortality a lot. There was a lot of death in his family. So all of that can be, so to say, used as positive motivation when we appreciate how mortal we are, and therefore, today might be my last day. And therefore, chaparain, learn Torah, give Hashem nachas, do good mitzvahs, you get a good name by helping other people. All of Amar Shleima, toiv, shem, b'shem toiv, v'yem ha'mavis is better miyem hivoldai. Not better for the people that remain down here, but it's for a good person, right? The day of passing is a much better. When you're born, you don't know what's going to happen. And then when a person has a successful life, they fulfill their kavanah, then they should rejoice. Their neshama rejoices. Shemen toiv means, it's a play on words, al pi pshat. It's shame and shemen. That a good name, a good reputation is better than good oil. Let's go like this. Shemen, Chassidut says, has two qualities that are opposites. Shemen stays always above. But then Chazal say Shemen is mifafeya b'kulei. Shemen, if I traveled once from one country to the other and a little bottle of oil spilled, that whole box was filled with oil and all the neighboring boxes. Shemen permeates. And l'choira, people get a good name, not when they are tzaddik and pelts. You're not going to get a good name. You can be a tzaddik. You get a good name by others when you do good things for others. No, we should be like oil. We shouldn't learn bad things from other people. We should stay aloof from not good things, but we should interact with the world to bring about a good, to bring down godliness in the world. Thank you. Speaker puts me on the spot. Now, guys, this is a lashon. Margala, let's taich, means a pearl. Everything is a pearl, but there are certain statements that are mamish like gold, and it's a lashon in many languages. That when a person is a very good orator, but this statement is a pearl in the mouth of Rav Meir, that he used to ask of Hashem, Gemoir b'chol levavecha, uv'chol nafshecha, l'da'as derachai. God is asking from us, understand, that we should put all of our hearts and all of our souls in order to learn God's ways. Which part of Torah teaches us God's ways? Kabbalah. Knowing God's ways, that's Pnimiyas HaTorah, Chassidus. Then we have to learn that. We have to learn the Seder Ishtalshalus. Then there's another, God is asking of us, V'lishkoit al dalsai Toirasi. This already refers to all parts of Torah. And so we should have shkida. We should be industrious. And we should be consistent. But then we have to retain it. This is all, Hashem is asking this from us. Guard the Torah in your hearts. Or you have it in your head. It's not enough to have it in the head. It has to come down in your hearts, in our hearts. And let my awe be always in front of your eyes. Right? So if you can say that if a necha goes to machshava, so picha goes to dibur, right? And what's the third levush? Maisa. So you have maisa of not sinning, and now you're going to have a concept of kaddish atzmecha b'mutalach. V'taher v'kaddish atzmecha. So v'taher v'kaddish is going beyond the letter of the law, right? What you can't do, you can do. Und was me nicht alles was me meg darf man. V'taher v'kaddish atzmecha mikol ashma v'avain. And then God says us when we'll go on that path. I'll be with you the whole time. In other words, this is God is asking us, it's difficult. God is with us. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu oizrei. They would say the following, Ani beria, I'm a creature. V'chaveirei beria, and my chaveirim are also creatures, we're all created by God. Right? The first wide line. Ani malachti be'ir, I do my work in the city. V'hu malachti b'sadeh. Ani mashkim l'malachti. L'chayra, we're speaking about people whose main occupation is Torah. They're in the city. People whose main occupation is muftzayim, going out there. So I get up, I arise to do my malacha, and he gets up to do his malacha. He does not try to distinguish himself doing my work. I'm not going to distinguish myself to do his work. Let's try to find this pshat over here. In other words, there are Yidden that their main occupation is their Yisachar. Yidden whose main occupation is to go out there in the world. And if each one has, the world needs both. But you have to remember that each one has to have a little bit of the other. And here we're going to emphasize that a Yid that's out there doing God's work in the world, they have to learn a little bit of Torah. However, sometimes they don't do a little bit of Torah because they feel, if I'm not going to master it, then what's the point? That's we all have that. You see how vast Torah is. It's overwhelming. How much will we get of it? A little bit. So who needs the little bit? That's where the failing is. It says, V'shema toimer, and if they will say that what says Rashi, that why, since I'm involved besada, and let's speak about an avodah good, avodah ruchni, so why should I even bother be kaveya itam a little bit? That's not my mission. Is I'm out there. I have to learn Torah. I'm not going to be matzliach. So the answer is no. It's not about how much you learn. Shema toimer that ani marbe v'hu mamet. So therefore, since I'm so insignificant, if I'm not going to live my whole life learning Torah the whole day, I'm not going to learn even a little bit. That's a mistake attitude. Because Shanina, we learned that echad hamarbe ve'echad hamabed. It doesn't make a difference in how much. And therefore, and this everyone, that goes for us also, but that's not the emphasis in the Gemara. That everyone, there's different paths, and everyone has to have a little bit of the other. There's the main avodah, but there is a little bit of adding to the others avodah. A person should not be arum beyiram. So Rashi says arum beyiram means a person should not be disingenuous with their God-fearingness. They should be honest. God knows what's in my heart. You can't fake inner feelings to God. Another statement, that if a soft response takes away anger. That means if someone is very aggressive with you, we de-escalate. Someone shouts at you, respond softly. And therefore, by having that attitude, and that all has to do with Yirah Shamayim. People that have Yirah Shamayim, it's the holy Geras Chafei. If someone is going to shout at me, I'm not going to be angry at them because it's God's doing. So I'll respond to them softly. And therefore, I'm going to always add to peace amongst my brothers. And you see that all of these mitzvahs of adding peace begins in the family. First with your brothers, and then with your kroivim, but with everyone. Eve'im kol adam, and with all people. Vafilim nachri. You should always be adding peace with everyone you engage with. Vafilim nachri b'shuk. Kedei sheyehei ohuv lamayla, in order for us to be beloved above, and v'nechmad lamata, and to be desirable below. Being desirable doesn't mean that if someone is doing something wrong, I should not challenge them, but to do everything in a peaceful way. And a person should behave in a way that he will be accepted amongst everyone. Because if a person is always interacting with respect and with shalom, then when there is something that has to be fixed and there's some gevura coming out of that person, they're going to accept it. Right? For every 10 compliments, you can give one word of criticism and it will be accepted. Right? So says Rabbi Leader. Amru Allah rabbiavrahamzajac ben Zakkai. That this concept of always interacting with everyone, b'shalom, shaloi higdimoi adam shalom me'olam. No one ever gave him shalom aleichem first. And v'afilo nachri b'ashuk. Margala b'pumei derava, a pearl in the mouth of a Rava. Tachlis chachma. The goal of chachma is not chachma. The goal of chachma is both high and low. High meaning tshuva, right? And then bringing it all down to ma'asim tovim. Shelo yehi adam chayda. A person should not be learning the scripture, Tanach. V'shoina means Torah shebal peh, Mishnayos, and at the same time they're not behaving it, which expresses itself uboyid ba'aviv ube'imoy u'barabbi, but he's kicking his father and his mother and his rebbe, and b'mishu gadol mimenu, and other people that are old, that are greater than him, both either in chachma or in minyan, even in numbers, in age. You have to behave what you're learning. Shneimar, as it says, that today's chachma is Yiras Hashem. So Yiras Hashem is the highest level. And that has to go all the way down. Seichel toiv l'chol oiseihem. L'chol oiseihem. we're going to read with the Messiah Sashas, Liloim Dehem, Loinemar. It's not enough. Of course you have to learn, but it's not about the learning, it's about doing what we're learning. Ella Lo'oiseyem. And you know what that means? For those who do them the right way, Lo'oisem Lishma, and not Lo'oisem Shaloi Lishma. So we just had above in the Amid that there is a virtue, Shaloi Lishma, B'toich Shaloi Lishma. We didn't have this here, but Chazal said, here we're learning a different statement. It would have been better for him not to be created. So says Tosfos, right? The last Tosfos on the Amid. Here in Berachot Dafnun, that what? That lo oilam yasik adam b'toira. I'm sorry. Makom shenahagu. Thank you. It's psachim. Good. The oilam yasik adam b'toira b'mitzvah is afilu shaloi l'shma. Shematoich shaloi l'shma ba l'shma. And Chassidus says that the toich of the shaloi l'shma, while we're doing to the shaloi l'shma, our godly soul then already did it l'shma. Not later. In the shaloi l'shma, there's the l'shma. So how can you say over here noyach loy? So v'yesh loymar da'achi mayra she'eino loymed elo lekanter chaveirov. There's many shaloi l'shmas. There's shaloi l'shma. Shaloi l'shma means I'm doing it to get honor. That shaloi l'shma, but ba l'shma. Or the toichet. But the kanta means I'm learning in order to know how to contend with my colleagues. So you have the missionaries that they read Torah to be able to challenge us with their narishkeit. That's called lekanter. And noyach loy shaloi nivra. Margalo b'pumi derav. Back inside the Gemara. A pearl in the mouth of Rav. Loy ka oilam hazar oilam haba. Oilam haba. Ein boy loy achila v'loy shasiya. V'loy piriya v'rivya. V'loy maso matan. And there's no kina, there's no jealousy. V'loy sina, there's no hatred. V'loy sachrus, there's no rivalry. Ella tzadikim yoishrim v'atreseim b'resheim, and the crowns are on their heads. V'nehenim iziv hashchina. Shenemar, as it says in Parshas Mishpatim, and here we're speaking about what we experienced during Matan Torah. That was a me'ein oilam haba, that vayechsu es olikim, that we saw godliness, and vayoichlu vayishtu, we ate and we drank. Says Rashi, it means that a person can reach such a high level that their goof is nourished from an experience with godliness. Why should Rabbeinu didn't eat and drink for 40 days? How did he do that? Because he was so connected to Elikus that nourished his body. And actually in Chassidus we learn a lot about the two stages in Tchias HaMesim. Just like we know there's two stages in Yomai HaMashiach, the two stages is the resurrection. But even after the Tchias HaMesim, people will still be eating and drinking. And then the ultimate stage will be a place where we won't need to eat and drink. We might still eat and drink because it's a mitzvah. So we'll be doing a favor to the food, and not now. Now the food is doing a favor to us because we need it. Weiter. Gedoyla, haftacha, sheftichen HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'nashim. That greater is the promise that God gives to women more than to men. Women get an additional haftacha. Where do we see that? What's the additional? So he quotes a pasuk in Yeshaya that what? That nashim sha'ananois. Now the word sha'ananois means women are at ease. There's a certain inner ease that women have, or they could have, or in the future they all will have. Koimana, rise up. That's what God is calling out to the woman. Women that are at ease, rise up. Listen to my voice. So that's one gift that they will have. They'll be sha'ananos. The other haftach is banois boitchais. Young women that are confident. Confidence is also a gift. Ha'azena imrasi, listen to my speech. In other words, you see Rashi says that they will be gifted both with this ease and with the confidence. Now the question is, why are they promised more than men? It must be that they have a merit more than men. And this is so gavaldik. So everyone has their own merit. You do your mitzvahs, you do your Torah, you do your mitzvahs, I do my mitzvahs. But women have an additional milah. And not only do they do their avodah, but they're very supportive of their husband's avodah. So not only do they have their own merits, but why do they get an additional, right? Gedoyla haftacha. So Amalei Rav le Rabchia, Nashim b'may zachyan, understand the context. People quote this always out of context. What is their zechus that they get a greater haftacha than men? Because not only do they have their own Torah and mitzvahs, on top of that, because ba'akruya b'nayu lebekinishta, they are the ones that inspired the sons to go learn Chumash in Cheder. And Uba Asnuye, that's Tanoim, that's Torah Shebal Peh, Guvrayu Beirabanan, and they inspire their husbands to go learn in yeshiva. And not only are they supportive of, but when they go there, they wait for them to return. And they wait for their husbands until they come back home. Oh, it's not only do they have their own, but they, by nature, more than men, they nurture, they inspire us, they motivate us. So therefore, they're going to get a double schar for their own Torah, for their own mitzvahs, for their own ma'asim tovim, for the own mitzvahim, and for the fact that they make sure we get out of bed early. It's mamish der schus. Ki hava mifteri rabbonim beit Rav Ami, when the chachamim would leave the yeshiva of Rav Ami, based on a break, or when they left the yeshiva of Rabbi Chanin, mibei, from the house of, from the yeshiva of Rabbi Chanina, amri lei hachi. This is what he would tell them, oilamcha tira bechayecha. That you should see, oilamcha tira bechayecha says us, that our physical needs are met. It mamish helps us do God's work better. One of the reasons Golus is that it's hard to do God's work because we're hungry. We can't pay the rent, God forbid, etc. And the end will be l'chayir l'mhaba. And v'sikvascha, and your hope should last forever. Hope is the greatest midah. Should never lose our hope. And therefore, if God is going to give us and we're going to have all of these blessings, so now lipcha yehega tfuna. So therefore, your heart should ponder, should be hoige in bina, in understanding God and godliness. And picha yedaber chachmas. Ulashoincha yarchish renonis. And our tongue should be whispering God's songs. Af apecha, and our eyelids ya'ashiru negdecha should go straight. Rashi says that it's a special bracha, and again for that we're asking that God should provide us with our needs, so we should come to the right halacha. Many people are very learned, but there's a special blessing we need to come to the right halacha, connected to the eyelids. Our eyes should be enlightened with the light of the Torah. And our faces should shine like the shinings of the horizon, of the heaven. Your lips, he's benching his students. Yabiudas should utter knowledge. And our kidneys should rejoice in righteousness. Upa'amecha, and your feet, yarutzu, they should run. Lishmaya divrei atik yoimin. Who speaks about atik yoimin? Chassidus. Your feet should run to learn about Chassidus. Just to know, atik yoimin is a level of godliness. It's the inner part of kesed. But these are terms that refer to pnimiyus hatoyim. So he gave them such a bracha. Maybe when you go bein azmanim, it's more important for you to learn Chassidus just to stay in check, to stay humble. When they would leave the yeshiva of Rab Chisda, it's temporarily for the break. Whenever they left the yeshiva of Rab Shmuel bar Nachmani, this is how we teach the following pasuk in Tehillim. This is the final verse in pasuk in Kapitel Kuf Mem Dalet. That alufeinu misubalim, that our leaders are laden. He's going to laden. Thank you. That we're going to teach this whole pasuk in the positive. Alufeinu misubalim. Our leaders are under the load. What are we referring to? Rav and Shmuel, or other people say Rabbi Yechon and Rabbi Lazar. One interpreted from these two groups. Alufeinu, our leaders in Torah, umisubalim b'mitzvahs, and they are laden with mitzvahs. V'chad Amar, another one says, alufeinu, a master, a teacher, an aluf, right? A generals of Torah and mitzvahs. And the word misubalim, laden, means that you're under a burden. Torah and mitzvahs is not a burden. You know what's a burden? Yisurim. So what about them? Turning to Daf Zayin with Beis. So now he's quoting the Hemshech HaPasuk, Ein Peretz. Ein Peretz means he's blessing us that there should be no breach. Shalei si yaseinu, that our company, our chevre, should not be kisi yasei shel David, that from his group someone breached. What was the breach? Achitophel. Right? He sided with Avshalom. And ultimately he killed himself. That's a pirza. It shouldn't happen. That's again quoting the verse. Then there shouldn't be any shoutings. Shulei tehesi yosenu kisiyasi shel Elisha sheyatz b'menu gechazi. As first we learned before, he was far from a tzaddik, but then later, ultimately, he was afflicted with saras. And the final word, Berachot v'yseinu, in our street, Shaloi yehelanu bein oy Talmud, shemagdiach tavshiloi, that is burning his pot in the public. In other words, that no one should leave our paths. Nach barabim, which is a tremendous amount of busha. Weiter, it says in Yeshaya, Shimu Elai, listen to me, abirei leiv. Abirei leiv means strong-hearted ones, fierce-hearted ones. Now, is that a lashon for positive? A tzaddik is called fierce-hearted, emes, and it can also go to the opposite. Someone, you have to be fierce-hearted, not to subjugate oneself to God. Now, this mamish sounds like the abirei leiv is a negative because we're calling them people that are far from tzedakah. So Rav and Shmuel, like this. No, abirei leiv is a tzaddik. What's pshat that they are the choikim from tzedakah? That kol ha'olam kula nizanim tzedakah. Tzedakah in this context means that if you're not a abirei leiv, you need to have God's mercy, God's tzedakah. Because if God won't give me tzedakah, if I'm going to get what I deserve, oy vavoy on me. So everyone needs tzedakah, but there are certain people that they don't need tzedakah in a kindness. Vehem nizanim b'zraya. In other words, they get what they need rightfully. That means they earned it. So it's complimenting them. Similarly, that ironically, that the tzaddikim in whose merit everyone else gets mezainas, they themselves are far from it. Notice that, like we learned, the Gemara is going to quote Rab Chanina ben Doisa, that the whole world was getting mezainas just for his merit, and he barely had what to eat. That's the meaning of rechoikim from their own tzedakah. How many great tzaddikim, how many brachas did the rebbe give for other people to have children? One of the names of Har Sinai. That refers to Rabbi Chanina ben Doisa. However, Chanina beni dailoi, he suffices with only a limited amount of, of the most inexpensive food. Charuvim, bakser, in English it's called carobs, me'erev Shabbos la'erev Shabbos. So all of these Amoraim, all understood one way or the other that abirei leiv, harochoikim mitzedakah is speaking about a great tzaddik. However, upligi de Rav Yehuda, Rav Yehuda, no, that man abirei leiv, fierce-hearted people refers to certain nations that they were so stubborn that no matter how much Giluy Elikus they saw, they never got close to God. Either it refers to a nation called the Goivoi Tipshoi. We're not going to read it. Gabai Tipshoi, God forbid. Goivoi, says Rashi, is a Shem Ummah, and they are the Nesinim, the Gevoinim. That why they call Tipshim? Because they lived amongst us, the Gevoinim. Amar Rabbi Yosef Teida, the whole igayir giyurim inayu. No one converted from them, even though really they made a giyur, but it was a fake. Not in kanamakim now, but the Gevoinim, they became designated to be the water carriers. So in other words, when there's a nation of people that live amongst the Jewish community and none of them convert, there's something wrong there. Not with us, with them. Amar Avashi, that Bnei Masa Machasya, Bnei meaning the non-Jewish inhabitants of the city of Machasya was a Jewish city. They are the abirei leiv. Why? Because the kochazu yikara da'iraisa, they would see the glory of the Torah twice a year. Rashi says twice a year is when Rav Ashi would gather everyone to teach them the Hilchas HaChag, Shloshim Yom Kedem HaChag. And according to many, when Rav Ashi would teach the Chevra Torah, a fire would descend from the heavens in a way that everyone saw it. Like we had these Geloyim in the Beis HaMikdash. So, and no one from that city converted. In other words, stubborn. When people are stubborn, that's the advantage or the disadvantage of stubbornness. Regarding us, we're called Am Kshayorev. It's a different expression. And that's in the long run, that's our greatest quality. That's why Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was pleading for God to forgive us, he told God that we are Am Kshayorev as a good thing. Because no one other than the Jewish people, you have to be an Am Kshei Oirev to be standing in Golus and Tafshem Pei and to still be here. No other nation would have done it. God chose the right people. But here they were fierce-hearted in the negative way. Then we're going back to the final shtickle in the Mishnah, that Hassan, Imroitza Likrois, right? So we had a machlokes in the Mishnah. Right? And Daf Tezayin Amud Beis. So the Tanach says that if a Hassan wants to read the Shema the first night, he can read. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, no. And we read the Rashi already. Because, why? Because if he's not already known to be a Chacham and a Chassid, it's called, he's boasting. He's showing that even though most people are unable to have Kavanah, I can have Kavanah. So it's called, you are giving off the appearance of being boastful. Mechse. So Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, don't do it. So now the Gemara says, Gavaldik, remember that Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel is the one, and the Chayish Liyuhara, right? That he's afraid of a person appearing as haughty, and the Chachamim, the Tanakama, they loy Chashin Liyuhara. How? That's the pshat in the Mishnah, but it contradicts it. Mamash, it's a stira one on the other. We learned in Psachim, Makam Shenagolasis Malachim Tishabav, on Tishabav, as the Rishonim explain, since it's called a Avelus Yishana, in other words, it's an ancient day of mourning, so an Avel now, God forbid, for the 7 close relatives, is Al Pi Din, not a lot of work. But on Tisha B'Av, Al Pi Halacha, you may work, but there was a minig difference between different communities, whether people de facto worked or not. So the Mishnah says, do follow the minig. Makim Shinahago Lasis Malach Tisha B'Av, Oisim. Makim Shinahago Shaloi Lasois, Ein Oisim. However, v'chol makayim, no matter where you live, Talmidei Chachamim should not work. Today, everyone is the Talmud Chacham, and Taka today the minig is not to work. Certainly not until Chatzois Hayoim of Tisha B'Av. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel Omer Lo'olam Yaseh Kol Adam Esatzmik Talmud Chacham. So you appreciate how each group, the Chachamim, not a group Chachamim, and the Rashbag are taking opposite opinions. What's in our Mishnah? The Chachamim say that you may, everyone, a Chassan who wants, he doesn't have to say this, he can say the Shema. He can behave like a Talmud Chacham. The Rashbag says, no, so Kasha the Rabbanon, Kasha the Ram Gamliel, Shem Gamliel. So the first answer is, Amar Rabbi Yechanan, therefore it's such a stira that we have to say Muchlefes Hashita, that the opinions are erroneous, and therefore you have to flip it. And here you have the Rishonim say which one has to be changed. They said our Mishnah has to be changed. They have reasons for saying that. No, it's reverse our Mishnah. However, no, don't reverse our Mishnah. And I'll explain to you how each one can take a different position in these two different cases. The Rabbanan loy kasha. When it comes to Kriya Shema, you're the Chassan, but you are the Chassan, and therefore Kivin the Kula Alma Kokaru, the Iyu Nami Kari. He will also read. He doesn't look like he's boasting. He's fitting in the group. But Hassan, over here by Psachim, over here by Tisha B'Av, Kivan the Kula Almi Avdi Melach. If you're living amongst a group where the minig is to go work, and you're the grace of Trumak. The Iyo like Avad, Mechsa Kiyuara. That taka gives off the appearance. That Rab Shimon ben Gamliel, other Rab Shimon ben Gamliel like Hashem, Hache over here, meaning here in Brachas. Since Kriya Shema b'kavana tali milsa, it's about having kavana. Va'anan sahadi d'loy motzel lachavna date. It's not about, don't do it. Don't say it. Avol Hassan. Think about it. If a person is living in a city and he doesn't go to work, it doesn't give off right away the appearance that he's not working because he's mourning for the Churban Beis HaMikdash. You know why he's not working? How many people are not working? He has no work. Or he's a lady again. It's not working doesn't necessarily lead you to see that this guy is overly mourning. He's not working because there's no jobs for him. Puk chazi, go out and see kamo batlane ika b'shuka. How many people are unemployed? It's always an unemployment issue. Not everyone had a president like ours now. No, everyone is employed. It's only a percentage that's unemployed. So therefore, it's not mechse kiyura. And with that we say, Hadron Allah chayakoyra, God willing, we will return to you, Perik Sheni. Let us start 2 minutes with the Mishnah. Now we learned the content already, that if a person is occupied in a mitzvah, they are exempt of a mitzvah. If a person is not only occupied in deed, but if they have tirdas hamachshava, they are exempt from it, especially mitzvahs that demand kavanah, reading Shema, davening Shemona Esrei. If a person is preoccupied, you can't. So says the Mishnah, Misha Meisoy Mutalafanav. Meisoy refers to one of the 7 relatives for whom we are obligated to mourn: father, mother, it's going down, father, mother, brother, sister, spouse, son and daughter. Then patur mikriya shema umin hatfila umin hatfilin. Don't forget, mutar lefanav means the person is still here, unburied. The person is an oinein. He is exempt from tefillin. Umikol mitzvah so amuras batoira, all positive commandments. And those of us who went through this stage, it's like a very uncomfortable. We don't make brachas. We don't say havdalah until the burial. Wow. Now let's go further. That's for the one who is an oinen. What about other people that are involved in the burial? Noisei hamita, pallbearers. And they didn't only have one group. Many people wanted this chus, so they would have pallbearers, and then they would have chilufeim. There were people like they had pallbearers here. Then you had a few feet ahead another whole group, and there was a changing of the guard. They exchanged the chilufeim. So it says the Mishnah. You have to differentiate between the ones that are lifnei hamita. The ones that are lifnei hamita are people that did not yet carry. They will be carrying. And then you have the ones that already carried. Now the ones that already carried might be called to carry again, but they already did it once. They are called the la'achar hamita. So the Mishnah differentiates. Eshe lifnei hamita, tzoyrech bohem. Since they are needed and they never carried yet, they are paturim from Shema, from Shemona Esrei. The ones that are after the bed, even though they might be needed again, but since they already carried once, they're not now that preoccupied, so therefore a chayiv. Gavaldi. Chayovin, we're speaking here about Shema and Shemona Esrei. From Shema. Chayovin Shema. Look. Oh. And again, we have another difference, as we had yesterday or 2 days ago, between Shema and Shemona Esrei. Means even the Eshel Ha'achrov are paturim because they will be needed again. It's important. They would take turns. Kovro asameis, if the deceased already was buried. Vechazru, and now they're coming back, and the minute there that at a certain point they made the shura. So I guess, we're speaking here, Danny, about Shema. If they can begin and end the Shema, before the mourners are coming into the 2 lines that will offer them the words of condolences, then yaschilu, because you can end it. But if you can't begin and end it, don't begin it now. Furthermore, the ones that are in the innermost, the row, there were so many people, if there are so many people, only the ones that are inside the row were the ones that actually interacted with the mourners. So you can't do 2 things at the same time. So they are exempt. But the people that are in the position of being chitzoniim, that means they won't anyways be interacting with the mourners. They're chayovim, again about Shema. And the final line in the Mishnah, and many people will have this in the next Mishnah, so we'll read it now, we'll read it again, that Nashim va'avadim uktanim are b'chlal exempt from Kriya Shema, Tefillin, because it's mitzvah sasei shazman gerama but v'chayovin b'tefillah, and so we paskin, and the Alter Rebbe paskins that women are chayiv in shachris and in mincha, and they're chayiv in mezuzah, and they're chayiv in birchas hamazon. To be continued.
You said yesterday, but this is sounding